Outdoor advertising is one of the fastest growing industries in the country, with advertisers innovating from the traditional billboard to moving ones and electronic displays. The out-of-home ads are alternatives to pricey spots that air on TV and radio. Not that pricey here on ANC though, capitalizing mostly on the number of commuters who spend about 2 hours in transit every day. Now, a group of outdoor advertisers have come together to professionalize the industry and to adapt advocacies that include cleanliness, free elections, and recycling tarps as tents for disaster victims. Very good idea. Attorney Troy Banyas sits down with us this morning to tell us more about this. He's the Executive Director of the Outdoor Media and Advocacy Group. Good morning, Attorney Banyas.
Good morning, Ron, and good morning to the viewers of Mornings at ANC.
We were talking about something else than their advocacy before we went on air.
Yeah,
we were still stuck on that expiration date.
It's going to be an interesting advocacy, actually, the 10-year expiration.
Let's see if you can come up with an advocacy on an outdoor ad for that.
It would be very interesting, actually. It would be very interesting.
Okay, first up, OMAG. What is this group all about? Why come up with an advocacy group for an industry within the advertising industry?
Well, basically, there's already a group existing in the outdoor advertising industry. It's the Outdoor Advertising Association of the Philippines, which is affiliated with the Advertising Board of the Philippines. However, this group of outdoor advertising suppliers, the OMAG or the OMAG, was formed the members of this group is not composed of OAP members, but more or less members of different sectors of the outdoor advertising community, but it also includes the OAP.
Okay.
The purpose behind this is that we have been thinking that since the industry is right now medyo fragmented, it's more or less fragmented right now, considering that there are different interests involved in outdoor advertising.
What interests?
Like, for example, there are those that are involved in transit ads. There are those involved in LEDs.
Okay, I get it.
Or MRT ads. Not all can be accommodated by one single group, or are not being accommodated by one single group. So what we were thinking before...
Not all of them are joining.
Yes, not all of them are also joining. So what we were thinking of is, one, we have to make sure that basically, it came out after Millennium. I don't know if you're familiar with...
Yes, of course.
Okay.
That's when...
several billboards fell down.
Several billboards went down, and there was this regulation then. That
and as a result,
have to be taken down.
Several regulations came out, pieces of legislation came out, and it seems that there's really no organization within the industry. Not only in terms of the private sector, but also in the government sector. They had no idea. There was a sort of an impression of how outdoor advertising is. That's why the purpose of the group is to educate the public on what outdoor advertising does for them. Okay,
so you're forming an organization for those people who just set up their outdoor advertising group on their own.
Yes.
Without really knowing an underlying purpose or their objectives or setting up their own goals. But just mainly for profit. It's just like a building thinking, hey, I have extra space here. I'll just put up a space here and then send that ad.
We want to educate the public not only on what outdoor advertising is, but also to educate people within our industry on the responsibilities that you have to take when you engage in this particular business.
Okay, when did you come up with this group?
It was in early 2009.
Okay, that was last year. And how many members or organizations are members?
Now we have 10 members.
10 organizations or just 10 people?
Nine companies and one association, which is the OAAP. The OAP is a member of OMAG as a member association.
And those companies are advertising groups?
Yes,
advertising
these are
agencies?
Outdoor advertising suppliers, billboard companies.
Suppliers, not
billboard
necessarily
companies.
The agencies.
Basically, they're more billboard companies. Well, I'm happy to say that I think our membership comprises a majority of the outdoor advertising suppliers in the whole Philippines.
And what would be the benefit if I put up a business like that, if I want to put up an organization that puts up outdoor advertising, what would be my benefit if I join your group? Okay,
basically, the reason right now that we are trying to advocate, we are coming out with certain advocacies right now, is to introduce to the public what basically is the benefit of engaging in outdoor advertising. And to be part of that group means that you will be part of a responsible group of outdoor advertising suppliers who are willing to cater to the client's needs. It's very important in our industry right now to to have that reputation of responsibility and professionalism.
Okay, what are those responsibilities? Is it just putting down your those tarps when there's a storm coming? What else?
What's very important actually in the outdoor advertising field is to make sure that the structural integrity of our billboard structures can withstand.
Oh, of course.
That's the first. Because
make sure it doesn't fall down.
Correct. Rolling down the tarps is a remedy that you can do when there's a typhoon.
Yes.
But what about the day-to-day, the wind?
Right. The steel structure stays there.
Should be very stable.
It's just the tarp that goes down.
And should comply with the standards provided by law. In fact, right now, there's only one law. Basically, there's a group of laws like the National Building Code, Structural Code of the Philippines.
Yes.
But there's only one main law. It's the National Building Code. And it's a very old law.
Oh.
I think it was 50s or 60s when it was first implemented. So
that's going to be
when you look
scary
at,
because
correct.
Some materials that are used for making buildings now
and
haven't
the
been invented there 50 years ago.
Yes, and the weather conditions were different at the time.
Right,
so
right.
we wouldn't know if it's still applicable right now. The standards of thickness, length, sturdiness, or whatever. I'm not an engineer, I'm sorry. But basically, these standards have to be revisited and restudied, so to speak. Now, one of the main advocacies of the OMAG is to help the government come up with reasonable legislation that will actually govern the industry. Not only in terms of dealing with clients. Basically, these are inherent na in companies. That's what they practice. But for us, it's more of the governmental standards.
So you want an updating of the national building?
Yes. We are trying to first educate the public about the benefits of engaging in outdoor advertising.
Okay, that's
number two.
First.
Yes, and then number two, we want to make sure that there will be professionalism in the industry and a sense of responsibility by coming up with a reasonable general law that will finally govern our industry.
Okay.
Because
that's the second.
Government intervention is very important. If there's no particular standard being implemented by the government, then any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just put up a billboard. And
which is going to be dangerous.
Yes, and actually that's what's been happening for quite some time. As you said a while ago, anyone with just a piece of property can just say that, hey, I can use this property to lease out for a building or whatever. It's the same with the billboard. If I have a piece of property na I think I can use for a billboard, then I can just put up a billboard without knowing what standards to use or apply. And that's why billboards keep falling down during typhoons.